Hey there, everybody. It's Dave here from Vikings First and SKOL, and we are live on the 2-minute warning show. Question is, can the Vikings keep it going? I've got the show on, and we've got Aaron Jones. Question, did he fumble or did he not? It looks like he's down to me. He is down. All right. All right. Good to be here, Anthony. No, I didn't hear squat about Rob Reiner and his wife, nor do I probably really care. McCarthy is on fire tonight. Yes, go for it. Yep. Nice. Yes. Raymond. Yep, sad. What happened to Rob Reiner and his wife? Vikings got this. Hey, let's hope so. And it looks like Dallas challenge, which would be a bad challenge, but okay. Two-tone, I'm doing pretty good tonight. Got a little bit of my Zero Dr. Pepper and a little bit of Heaven Hill bottled in bond. Trying it for the first time, and it's actually quite delicious. Got it at Costco. Spent way too much money at Costco. But hey, that's the way it goes. But how's everybody tonight? Hey, Steven, SKOL to you as well. Right now, the Vikings lead 31-23 with 3 minutes and 2 seconds left. Hey there, Chuck. Two-Tone says he's not looking too bad tonight. No, he is not. Unless it's particular TD throws to Justin Jefferson. But those weren't his fault either. Not good. Anthony, not good. All right. Hand off to Aaron Jones and lost for 1 yard. Second down. Second and 11. All right. 2 minutes, 45, 44. It's ticking down. We're going to let the clock run. Since the Vikings lead by 8 points, 31-23, like I said before, we'll get into how well J.J. McCarthy's looked. Chuck says next season, Jets will have 16 TDs or something crazy. Probably. Very much so. I wouldn't doubt that in the slightest. All right. Back, hands off to, this time to Jordan Mason, who gets a +1 on his carry. Over the left side. I still question it from the very first of the game. We've got SKOL in on the left side, and yet they insist on running on the left side. We are at the 2-minute warning. Here we go with the rolling. Welcome to Vikings First and SKOL's, live at the 2-minute warning. Next. And we're back. I'm back. And Anthony says, do you think they keep Naylor next year? Because he's been surprisingly good. That is a great question, and I have no idea. Two-Tone, they need to get on the same page, and then they will be awesome. I agree with you, Two-Tone. I agree with you. I know JJ has said he was nervous throwing to Jefferson because how much he means and how good he is. Well, there's other times when he throws to Jefferson and Jefferson drops it. It's like, come on, are you allergic to each other? What's going on? I thought you're friends. And they are friends, so we don't know. Steven, we should find a Moss-like receiver to complement Jettas. Well, that may be Jordan Naylor. Or Jalen Naylor. Two-Tone says, I hope they keep Naylor. And, of course, this is where Ted Glover chimes in. Naylor, I barely even knew her. And we hand off to Aaron Jones, and he gets tackled for a 5-yard loss, 4th down. Come on. I know you want to kill the clock, but we got to keep getting first downs there, KOC. Hello, Mary. How are you? Long time no talk to. We got a bunch of... We'll definitely keep Naylor if we lose Addison. Yes, probably. Probably. I need to kill this window. Don't need it anymore. Do. All right. Mary replies, yes, two-toned. Absolutely. All right, here we go. Another time out. There's a minute 13 left. It's 4th down. Offense looks like it's coming off the field, which means, they're sending Will Reichert out there for a long kick, I believe. We'll find out. All right. Two-tone. Tried to ask you for a firm request, but it wouldn't let me on Facebook. I have no idea what you're talking about. All right, and the kick is good. With that, your Minnesota Vikings go up 34-23 with a minute 8 left. I would call that the dagger blow. Two-tone, did you ask me? Friend request. Okay, I'll have to look. All right, here we go. All right. Yes, Stephen. We're looking like a victory. That's at least a dagger, if that. I mean, it's a minute 8. I doubt Dallas Dak is going to pull a miracle out of their backside. But I'm not going to count my chickens yet before they hatch. I've learned too well over the years. Unless it is physically impossible. Let's see how it goes. Will Reichert's lining up for the kickoff. Oh, and that one bad kick he had, booting it out of bounds, not good. All right, this one, he blasted through the end zone. Okay. That had to have been directed. Cool Papa Bell asks, where are all the JJ Mc haters now? Nice game for the Vikes. Yes, it is. All right. Australian Scolder. Hey, guys. Love from Australia. Can you please shout out the people who lost their lives on Bondi Beach massacre yesterday? Yes, that was so sad. And I'm hearing the numbers up like 16 dead so far. Best game all year. Oh, come on now. Hitman almost had his 39th interception. He dropped it. Oh, Harrison. Oh, actually, he didn't drop it. It was knocked out by the receiver. But still, yes, for sure. Best game of the year. Oh, for JJ, without a doubt, it is. He had it knocked out, Steve, but boy, did it look like it. Do the Vikings need to look for an offensive tackle? Darrisaw hurt a lot, and O'Neill's aging. I don't know. It's a great question, but I don't know. Oh, no. Now we got Isaiah Rodgers hurt. Grabbing his, what looks like his shoulder or his wrist or something. Yes, Chuck, it was a nice play by Flournoy to save the interception. He shouldn't have. He should have respected his elders. Yes, Chevy is sad what happens. Trade Jets and sign Naylor a 5-year max. Adrian, I don't know about trading Jets. I still think he's the best wide receiver in the NFL. Two-Tone says he didn't get time to heal. That's what I believe, and it very well could be. Australia thinks McCarthy's already beaten Cousins' prime record. And it's wide right. Dallas kicker makes 3. Hey there, Drewster. The Drew's in the house. The Drewster. My buddy, my pal. Drew, take a look at how many yards McCarthy has. Oh, I was wrong. I was looking at he didn't miss it. That was a replay. And Prescott drives down, throws it, catches 30 seconds, counting down. Prescott shotgun takes a snap, drops back, sings it over the top, forward the end zone, and through the back of the end zone. All right. Great win, great game. George is giving you some love, Australian Sculptor. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. And Anthony says he's surprised Aubrey missed his kicks already. Now Aubrey's lining up for the kick, for the field goal, so they can hopefully do the onside kick and get a quick score after that. Let's see how it goes. Ball snapped down. Aubrey kicks. It's good. So the score is now 34-26 with 19 seconds left. What this means is Dallas is going to go for the onside kick, obviously, and then they're going to try to get at least a playoff to get, or a play or two off to get the score. But we will see. Yes, we will. We will see. Drew Bunting says it best about the haters. Forlorn hope. Cheers, my buddy. Hope you're drinking well tonight. Brian Perez, trade Addison, Naylor, 3-year deal, trade TJ, and look for a tight end in free agency. I can live with that. Consciousness, reality. Wild win, Wolves win, Vikings win. Let's go. It's good to see all Minnesota teams win tonight then. All right, here we go with the onside kick. Everybody's lining up. The referees are making sure everybody's lined up. Started the clock. Unwound it. They'll start when the ball's kicked. And the ball's kicked. Boink, boink, boink. And Minnesota recovers. And that, pardon the victory formation, will be the win. Vikings will win this one with a score of 34-26 for your final. Josh Oliver was the one that hopped on that ball. I said laid on that ball. It went through bounced through his hands, and landed in his stomach, and finally laid down on it. He got it. All right, J.J. McCarthy in the victory formation takes the kneel down, throws the ball. Your Minnesota Vikings win. Vikings win. Vikings win. The final score is Minnesota 34, Dallas 26. And your Minnesota Vikings have adopted the spoiler role. Yeah, buddy. Gotta love that because they needed to. J.J. McCarthy had his best game of the season. He was 15 for 24 for 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, the very first one, which is a goofy one off a tip, and a QBR of 108. Yes, yes, yes. We wanted to see improvement. We got improvement. So let's see how much more we get in the next week. Yes, Drewster, what a win. What a win. I can't mention enough. Vikings 34, Dallas 26. And your Minnesota Vikings now record improves to 6-8. Hey, buddy. Raymond says, nice victory, something to build off of. Yes. Rimmer says, 3 different Minnesota teams played tonight simultaneously for a little while, and all 3 teams won. Go Wild. All right. Pun intended. Yes. It should be. It's a good day for Minnesota. Good day, good day, good day. Now, question is, does that change our seeding on Take-a-thon? I don't think it does. No, it did. We went from 11th to 12th because we have the harder strength of schedule than Kansas City. Interesting. All right. George says, damn OG perps. SKOL Vikes. Daniel says, finally. Yes. Hey, that's 2 wins in a row. Both over the NFC East, but 2 wins in a row, and we will take it. You really hope Brian Kelly plays next season? Would understand if he retires. Okay, well, he did get pushed back, but that's one of the best defensive nose tackles in the business who did that on that one play. But, hey, Anthony says, no Caleb Downs now. Okay, Drew, it is good to see. Now, other standouts of the game. For rushing, we had Aaron Jones with 12 rushes for 34 yards, measly 2.8. Jordan Mason, 10 rushes for 29 for 2.9, not much better. And now we have Darren joining us. Drew says, embrace the suck, embrace the spoiler role. JJ is the real deal. What a game for JJ. Yes, he is. And poor Darren underestimated his total for the week, and I did not.
That's an over and under I'll be happy to lose.
Okay. What? Anyways, what did you think of the game, buddy?
Well, I certainly didn't think that if the Vikings were going to win, it would be mostly through the passing game, but quite happy to see it. Certainly that was the best that McCarthy, outside of the interception on the very first pass, you're like, oh, great. Here we go. 5 turnover game again. But, he just started after that. He seemed like he took the easy throws to get things going and had his best first half. Well, this is his best game that he's had in the 8 games that he's had. The 2 touchdown passes and the run, and then the defense. 26 points doesn't sound like an outstanding performance by them, but they're going up against one of the best offenses in the NFL.
The number 1 ranked offense in the NFL.
And they basically, I know they gave up 2 TDs, but one was on that interception deep in territory. Not a great situation for them. Then the special teams gave up the fake field goal. So really they only gave up the 1 TD tonight, I feel. And that's a really, really good performance against a really, really good offense and a really, really good quarterback, even though people crap on Dak Prescott all the time, but I'd take him on my team. So this is a quality win, even though Dallas isn't a juggernaut, but you go on the road against a Dallas team with a lot to play for and a really high-powered offense. And I know the Dallas defense is you look at it and their stats say they're one of the worst in the NFL, but lately they've been playing a little bit better ever since they made the trade for Quinnen Williams. That has made them made them better defense. And tonight, JJ McCarthy, I thought he played a solid game out there. Didn't get sacked, got the ball out pretty quick. Maneuvered the pocket pretty well, even when he did have a little bit of pressure. And it's really something to build on, right, Dave? Something to build on for him. And he did it on the road again. It seems like he plays a little bit better on the road sometimes than at home. So I'm happy with this. I'm happy with this. I know some people are going to say, "Oh, look, you blew your draft position again."
Yeah, we went from 11th to 12th.
Yeah. I don't care about that. But the people don't like Chris Collinsworth, but he said at the end of the telecast, objective 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 is JJ McCarthy right now. So if JJ McCarthy plays well and we win, that is a good day for the Minnesota Vikings.
It is, without a doubt. It is. And it's good to see Rhino joining us tonight too.
Indeed.
To see him improve does help. And they're showing a replay of the bootleg. That was just a thing of beauty. I said it at the time. God, so gorgeous, so well designed and executed. It was wonderful.
Yeah, because Dallas knows that we're not going to pass there. They figure Mason was in the game at that point, right? So you figure
and he was running well.
Yeah, and they figure, okay, they're going to try to hammer him in there. And you saw all of the Dallas defense is just, going downhill, downhill to Mason. And bootleg, bingo, wide open grass. McCarthy does a little gritty, which is, I was like, take it easy there, buddy. You don't want to get him riled up so early. But, hey, that's the kind of guy that, McCarthy is an emotional, enthusiastic kid. And we like it when things go well like this. Again, solid game for him. Very happy for him. And, keep it up, kid. Keep it up. Next week, like to see a repeat performance or better.
Or better. A lot better. And it's not Jonas, but it is Tyler.
Vibes are good. Vibes are good. Disappointing that this team isn't eligible for the playoffs and that it took until week 14 to really unlock what this offense could be. But we knew going into the year, even though I'm going to be honest, I had much higher expectations considering the depth of this roster. We knew that it was going to be a bumpy road to get here, but I think we all thought it would be, we would have been able to level out a little bit better. Like this team theoretically shouldn't be 6-8. It should be 8-6 or 9-5, considering what this roster looks like and how many players you have at a lot of positions. But that's not where we are. The Vikings are not in the playoffs. There are just 3 games left, and it's draft time. But until then, it's about development. It's about trying to figure out what you have in this guy. And I kind of said before the game, I thought, hey, this is probably going to be where the Vikings just sit Darrisaw for the rest of the year because there's nothing to play for. And that knee, whether they rushed him back or whether it's just giving him issues because the healing process just was not as clean as they wanted it to be. Whatever the reason is, it's probably just best to sit him down and like, well, you got to do what's right for JJ McCarthy. I'm like, what's right for JJ McCarthy is to have his left tackle in 26, not to have a 60% Christian Darrisaw for the last 4 games. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't notice Justin SKOL once tonight.
You did. I did.
I didn't notice him. I didn't notice him at all. There weren't really any like, oh my gosh, what an egregious miss kind of block. I mean, look, offensive line wasn't perfect tonight. There were pressures, but you didn't have that where we had it in week 1 where Justin SKOL got absolutely murdered by the Chicago Bears.
No,
I didn't see any of that, which is completely fine. He's a serviceable replacement level backup tackle. And that's what you got.
But
you help him out
call run plays to the left that get tackled for 1 yard or -2 yards over him.
That's a complicated question because we don't necessarily know 100% what the run plays were. Was it like a zone play where, hey, he just bounces it over to that side because he sees a hole, but then it just gets filled up? I'd want to go see the all-22 before I make any kind of declarative statement on that. But I'll say this, the offensive line, when you have most of your guys playing, it feels pretty good. And Kevin O'Connell continues to adjust his play calling. And I saw 2 slants tonight. Everybody's been begging for slants. That's not what this offense really likes to do with their quick game. They much prefer speed outs. They much prefer like whips and returns. They don't really like to use slants in that way like other offenses do. Whether you like that or not is fine. We can have that discussion another time. But they use those. The chemistry between McCarthy and Jefferson is absolutely bad. It's terrible. And there are many reasons for it. But it comes down to give them an off season, give McCarthy time to work on those mechanical changes, because they don't give a shit about mechanics, which I'm going to be honest, they shouldn't have given a shit about mechanics for the first few starts too. They should have just let him play. And then the bye week, okay, you're doing these things. It's consistent. Let's see if we can just fix one thing. Let's fix this. And instead of trying to drill it week after week after week, which is kind of the vibe we got listening to Kevin O'Connell, Wes Phillips talk at these pressers, that they're trying to work on this and they're trying to work on that. Well, then you get a young quarterback. All he's doing is thinking. You don't want to think. You just want to play. And then when O'Connell said on X's and O's with Paul Allen 2 weeks ago, told him to stop thinking and just start playing. And that's when we started to see that step forward against the Commanders. When we saw that again against the Dallas Cowboys tonight, do it again against the New York Giants next week, and then do it against good defenses to end the year in the Lions and Packers. To me, that's the next step. We saw him play really well against two crappy defenses. Play against a good one. Do the same things you did in these two games against a good defense in the Lions or really good defense in the Packers. Do those things, and then I think we're really going to feel good going into next year. I love that he rebounded after that interception. A lot of quarterbacks, we've seen it time and time again. Remember that Falcons game during the pandemic when Kirk Cousins ripped that ball over the middle, interception, and it was a 20-point blowout by the Falcons? That's what this could have been. But he leveled the playing field. He calmed the storm, and he got back on track. And good for him. That was a veteran type of performance from McCarthy. We should feel really good about it. Defense, death by 1,000 cuts. They really limited any type of explosive plays from the Cowboys. I don't think they had a single pass over 25 yards tonight, which that's been their bread and butter. Go deep to Pickens, go deep to Lamb, throw over the seams, throw those deep corners, those goes. They didn't really get any of those tonight. They got a couple of really deep digs because the offensive line protected. Dak was able to kind of climb the pocket and throw down the field after holding the ball for like 5 seconds. But it's hard to be mad at those. None of these were like super schemed up where, hey, Pickens, go deep. I'm going to find you. They got none of those. And I think the Vikings are very happy about that. Some things to clean up, but they looked at the Cowboys and said, you're going to beat us by 1,000 cuts, and we dare you to do it. And they couldn't. And kudos to them. They figured it out. And hard to feel bad about this win, let me tell you. There
was one throw that was deep. 30-yarder to CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb, yeah.
A lot of that was yak stuff. So
he was open on that one. It was,
yeah, he was open, but I'm talking those really deep explosives where you're throwing the ball 35, 40, 50 yards down the field. They got none of those. That's what I'm talking about. The 30-yarder, okay, yeah, he caught it about 15 to 20 yards and then ran the rest. It still sucks, but it's not the same concept. It's not the vibe of what we're talking about. So they didn't allow any of those bombs. That's huge. This offense lives off those bombs. I don't even know if Prescott attempted one of them tonight.
I don't know. But the CeeDee Lamb one, if I remember correctly, it was a 30-yard pass. Deep. He was deep.
That was on the first drive of the second half?
Yeah.
Like their first play or something down the right sideline or something like that.
Anyway.
Dave, your graphic yesterday on the officiating crew proved to be very accurate. Novak called 7 penalties on the Cowpokes and only 2 on the crew, only 2 on us. Like dead on as far as and the home team lost.
Well, hey, we beat the spread and we won as well. It's great. Absolutely great.
Not so great the kickoff coverage.
Special teams was
bad as I've seen in a while. Hey, Will Reichard never misses, so there's that. Brian Wright's punting really well all season. There's that, but yeah. Anyway, that's about my own. It's only about my nit. That's the only nitpicking I have tonight, really. Isaiah Rodgers learned how to tackle. Unbelievable.
But there were some injuries tonight. Grenard went out. O'Neill went out. Rogers got banged up.
Mm-hmm. We'll see how they're coming this week with the injury report. O'Neill looked like they were taping him up, and we're like looking like they would have put him back in if they had to. Maybe so hopefully that's not a big deal. And I don't know, Darrisaw sit him the whole year. Well, I guess that we don't know how. It seems like his knee has been bothering him all year, and that's why he's in and out all the time. So that's not good news. So I see the logic, but if he feels good next week, and then he's paid to play. So, tonight it wasn't a circus with Justin SKOL out there, but I don't know if I'd be loving it having SKOL against the Giants, Brian Burns and Abdul Carter and all those guys. I'd prefer if Darrisaw is good to go. Again, he's a professional. He's paid to fucking play. But if his knee is not sound, then that's another issue. But the medical staff have been playing him. He's been out other times. They've played him the following week, so we'll just have to see how things go.
I personally just wouldn't play him. There's no point. Don't risk him for next year. Just let him. Whatever's going on. We don't know.
The point is,
here's the thing. If he's not playing
at left tackle, you have a turnstile left tackle, and you want to develop your rookie quarterback, or not your rookie, your second-year quarterback.
Well, I'll tell you this: I would rather have Darrisaw miss the last 3 games, which means jack squat, and have him 100% for week 1 of next year, and just deal with left tackle. SKOL was okay tonight. You don't know he's healthy.
Yeah,
but we don't know he's healthy or
he's
unhealthy.
missed 2 of the last 3 games. He's consistently coming out. He's consistently missing time since he returned. Just shut him down. It's not worth it. He's a top 2 player in this team. It is not worth it to play him when you are playing for literally nothing. McCarthy is going to have guys missing time constantly throughout his career. SKOL was okay tonight. If he can just play okay the next 3 games, that's fine.
That is his first okay game this year, pretty much.
Second, he was great against the Browns. The next gen stat where he had 14 true pass sets against Myles Garrett and only allowed 1 pressure, and that was because Carson Wentz escaped up into the pocket on the right side. And Garrett,
I don't want to hear any complaining about SKOL then if he's a turnstile in the next 2 games.
I mean, I could still complain that he sucks, but I still think it's the right decision. I can still think it's the right decision to bench Christian Darrisaw. They're not mutually exclusive things, because I want Darrisaw to be 100% healthy for next year. If this was Justin Jefferson, I'd say the same thing. If he's hurt, if he's not 100%, don't play him. Don't risk it. It's okay. This isn't like Christian Darrisaw saying, I need to sit. This is you telling him, we have $110 million invested in you. You ain't fucking playing, because you are too important to this franchise long-term. That's how I would approach it. But then again, we don't know what's actually going on with the knee. We don't. Correct. So as much as I want him to just sit because of the information we've been given, who the hell knows what's going on with it, because we haven't been given that information. So it's, even though I'm fully convinced that he should just sit, I also can't be, because we just don't know. If he's just 100% healthy, just play him. But if he's not, don't. There's 3 games left that mean nothing.
Fignut says he wants to see
90% healthy. Do you play him? Like, what's your cutoff? Because none of these guys are 100% healthy right now. I
think that's a fair point. What I mean by 100% healthy
don't
is
play Brian O'Neill next week either, because he's too valuable to the team.
I think, you know what, that's not the worst idea in the world either. But my thing is, if you have this knee injury where it continues to be an issue and it's lingering and it's something that stems from a torn ACL in late October of 24, shut him down. If you have a couple of bumps and bruises, no, just play. You know, what you said it earlier, Darren, suck it up. You're paid a lot of money. But I think this is a different situation. This isn't Darrisaw's whining, oh, I'm hurt, I need to sit. No. This is your franchise left tackle, and you're playing for pride. It's not worth it.
Well, I think Darrisaw does want to play. That's why he's been going in there. He's a gamer. So Hey, we'll see. We don't, again, like we said, we don't know what the issue is with the knee. Maybe it just got inflamed this week and it'll be fine next week or not. Certainly if he's like 60%, yeah, you don't want him out there. He's going to be a danger to himself and a danger to JJ McCarthy. So we'll find out. But hey, if the medical staff clears him, I'm okay with him being out there. But
so am I. Because you need to, it's a work on a chemistry thing type of deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's.
But hey,
now, Fig Nuts asked,
very good game.
Harrison Smith back for another year. I just wish
he's done.
Flournoy hadn't knocked out that ball from Harrison Smith's hands, or he would have had number 39 there at the end. Yeah, he's probably done.
I think he's done. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Like,
of course not.
He's had a Hall of Fame career. I think he'll have to wait a few years to get in. I don't think he's a first ballot guy or anything, but I do think he gets in, and I don't think he has to wait that long. Just great player who's been a constant since he was drafted in 2012. That consistency is just something that you don't get from guys. Consistently healthy other than a couple games here and there, and consistently good.
Now, I think this game has postponed the conversation on, do we need a replacement for JJ McCarthy or just a backup?
I don't think it's too early. I don't think it's done that. But no matter how things go, they need to bring in like somebody who's a viable, I think, competition to him next offseason. I don't think four or five solid workmanlike games should change their opinion on what they saw previously. But great that if the trajectory is going up, that's great. But you can't be, if things start going south again at the beginning of next season and he's still missing wide open guys and all that sort of stuff, then you can't be like, well, we're going to suck it up and just work through it. You got to have somebody who can go in there and maybe turn things around with this roster. That's my opinion. Even if he throws like 400 yards in the next 3 games, which ain't going to happen, but
I think you feel a lot more.
Go ahead.
You feel a lot more comfortable about going into next year with McCarthy after these 2 games. But my one trepidation is I want to see it against a defense that's not jello. I want to see it against a good defense.
Yeah.
I want to see it against a defense that actually has really good players and a really good scheme. We haven't seen that yet. We've seen some inconsistent play against good defenses like that Lions game. But we haven't seen him fully put it together yet against a good defense. I want to see that before I am convinced that, hey, this is unquestionably the guy, because I don't think we've had that yet. And I don't think that's a hot take. I don't think that's being unfair. We want to see more consistency against really good teams, and that will come, hopefully. But until then, I think we're still kind of in this limbo period. He's only started 7 games. He is 4-3 in those starts, and I think that's an important stat as well. But I want to see more. I want to see more development. We have to, no matter what, there has to be somebody with a better pulse than Carson Wentz behind him next year. Doesn't have to be a huge swing, but there has to be somebody with a better pulse than Carson Wentz.
Oh, that I agree with.
Like this whole, trade for Mac Jones. Screw that. I want nothing to do with Mac Jones. Mac Jones has only been good as a rookie, and then once people got film on him, he completely tanked. And with Kyle Shanahan, who makes anybody look good. So I'm not giving up any kind of draft capital for that guy. Figure out if you can get Jacoby Brissett, maybe, Case Keenum. He's going to be like 38, but he's got somewhat of a pulse. Just do something that makes you feel like you're serious. I thought Sam Howell was serious. He just came super late, so didn't give that vibe. But Sam Howell just was terrible in camp. And they did a great thing. They moved off him, and they got real capital back, which is wild to think about. But, yeah, just do something serious.
Old Space Weather guy says, Phillip Rivers, 26. Let's go, baby.
I don't think that Rivers situation is so incredibly specific. Like Rivers, I think, lives in Indiana. Yeah. He ran Shane Steichen's offense at his high school.
He's been helping the team.
Yeah, and Steichen was an old coach for the Chargers before he got the job in Indy. So it's a cool story, but that dude is Muscle Bob Buff Pants. If you've ever seen that episode of SpongeBob where he has the fake muscly arms that are like pink. Dave, you could throw a stronger football than Phillip Rivers at this point. It's rough. It was a rough watch. But you know what? They almost won. So good.
Well, he's going to have to wait at least 5 more years to get into the Hall of Fame now.
I think he's okay with that.
Oh, I'm sure, but that's okay.
Just gives him more time to have more kids.
Big says Colin Kaepernick. He's super rested.
I don't know. People were bringing up a couple of not the white whale for us. People brought up Malik Willis in the chat earlier as somebody to bring in potentially.
That would be serious.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know I get made fun of a lot for my Malik Willis takes in the draft where like we hadn't seen a guy with this kind of package since Michael Vick came out, and he was nowhere close to what Michael Vick was. But when he's done with the Packers the last 2 years has been really, really impressive, and he's shown a lot of growth, which the Titans basically, they hated him. They really hated him. So yeah, I think that would be a really good option. Plus, he's a backup and he's got great legs. That's always a plus when it comes to a backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Now, George says, or we could change the offense.
No. I think Kevin O'Connell's done a great job. I know it may not feel that way on game day, but over the course of the year, he's continued to make adjustments and continued to make modifications on how he's calling games, how he's designing plays, and he's been great. And it took him a little too long, which I think is a very, very fair criticism, to just simplify things a lot more than he did early on. But this offense has been humming the last 2 weeks. They've been incredibly efficient and explosive, and they have scored 31 and 34 points against teams that they should have scored 31 and 34 points again. This looked like a Sam Darnold offense tonight. It did.
Ooh.
And I'm not going to say it was 100% identical, where I think Sam Darnold probably puts up 45 against these guys. But what they were doing, how they were accomplishing it, and McCarthy's poise in the pocket, no sacks tonight, very little pressure. When that game was tied at 17, Next Gen Stat had 1 pressure allowed by the Vikings offensive line. Overall, really good performance, and I think we should feel really good about the direction. And that was one thing.
The difference between Darnold game and tonight's game?
Psychotic deep balls.
Justin Jefferson would have caught all those balls.
Yeah, McCarthy's still throwing rocket balls, and Jefferson is, it's not working. Some of that's on Jefferson. It's not just a JJ McCarthy thing. They need to
both
figure it
got
out.
Some sort of mental thing going there. But
Jefferson needs to teach McCarthy where he wants the ball, and McCarthy needs to slow down his rocket balls. Like, you don't need to throw a pistol whip every single time. But this is a very, very common thing for any first-time NFL starter. He'll get there. And we've already seen him be able to layer the ball with touch. It just needs to be a consistent thing. And that'll come.
He had a nice one.
Really
he finally had a nice one down the middle of the field to Hawkinson tonight. That was nice to see. Those are the kind of throws that he hasn't been able to make on a consistent basis. And if he can start hitting on those, he's getting there. He's getting there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we'll see. Washington. How much did they put up on the Giants today? Was it
29
with Mariota in there? So, hey, they're on the road. Let's see what McCarthy and the Vikings offense can do against the Giants next week. Build on this momentum.
Mm-hmm. And play spoiler. And then let's beat the Lions and the Packers. Especially the Packers.
Packers defense, I think, is going to look a lot less scary without Micah Parsons in there. I think he took that defense up 2 or 3 levels with the attention the attention that he draws and the things that he can do and the pressure he can put on a quarterback. With him being out there, who's Rashawn Gary's the guy that's going to have to do it now because it ain't going to be Luca Van Ness. So let's see. They're going to make some interesting last few games for sure.
As Vikings Uncensored makes the comment that, hey, Favre made a career throwing through a brick wall. Favre also knew when to put touch on the ball when he had to. And he was more than willing to do that. Like he would just bloop right over defenders in the red zone. Like he threw a lot of rocky balls, but he could throw a touch, and he knew that if he had to, how to get it done and where to put it.
Yeah, towards the end of his career. I agree.
Oh, he did so early on, but it wasn't. The rocket balls were a little bit more. But we also have to remember, different era.
Mm-hmm.
That matters a lot too.
Now, speaking of some stats, Jordan Addison receiving had 2 receptions, 66 yards. Good for him. There was that one beauty that took him down inside the red zone.
A little underthrown, or else that's a TD.
Mm-hmm. But the ball was already in the air when he turned around and looked for it. So, TJ Hawkinson, 4 for 66 yards. Yes. Jalen Naylor, 3 for 47 and 2 touchdowns. And that one where he landed on his back, I was worried that he hurt something in his back or his ribs.
And a key 4th down conversion on his other catch, too.
Yeah, it was good. But even Aaron Jones had 3 for 31. So it's not bad. We averaged 16.7 yards per catch today, which has got to be the most of this
tonight,
season.
Yeah, like last week, they, not enough targets to Justin Jefferson. I thought at least tonight they tried to get it to him. Some good coverage by Duron Bland on a couple. A big miss by McCarthy on one that could have been a touchdown if it hadn't been so high. There was a touchdown, and then it was called back by a flag. And then Jefferson just whiffs on that fastball there, like Tyler said. That one's on Jefferson. That one's not on McCarthy. But at least he got more targets. They were trying to get it to him, which I'm encouraged that they're just not using him as a decoy like they have the last couple of games and refusing to throw to him because the coverage is saying he's not open. So.
Right. Now, Jonas is in the remarks. People have noticed he's not on the screen. He's in the remarks because he's eating breakfast and he's got to go to work. But he said he loved that they did the Manning bootleg with McCarthy in Dallas because, of course, when Manning did it, it was against Dallas. Big Rails, $1.99 super chat. Thank you, sir. Thank you. TJ, $20 million next year. Is he worth that?
Yes. Yes. It's not flashy. It's not sexy. But what he provides for you often doesn't get appreciated nearly as much as it should because he's had to do a lot of chipping. And we've talked about it before. When he chips, he's not just doing a quick push or running into a shoulder. He is laying into a dude and then getting into his route. And you saw that seam route up the middle of the field. That's the kind of thing that he provides you that you're not going to be able to get the same from a wide receiver because that wide receiver ain't going to be against a linebacker. So look, Hawkinson hasn't been the 2022 or 2023 version like we want him to be. But that's partly been because of necessity, not because he's washed. So I think he's a perfect, hey, add a couple void years, restructure, get the base down. Because if you get rid of Hawkinson, now all of a sudden you have a massive void at tight end because you don't have a tight end 3 you can really trust. Correct. And Josh Oliver is going to stay in his role as tight end 2. So unless you have a replacement option for him, I don't think that he's somebody that you can get rid of. And we can talk about, take Kenyon Sadiq from Oregon in round 1. Is he going to be there? Is he going to be somebody that you actually want to invest in? Plus, tight end is historically difficult to be great at in the NFL. We can talk about Brock Bowers. We can talk about Gronk. But those are historically great tight ends. Well, let's talk about all the guys like Kyle Pitts finally feels like he's breaking out and it's year 5.
Right.
OJ Howard was a top 20 pick. He stunk and everybody thought he'd be a slam dunk. Michael Mayer was picked 37. Everybody thought he was going to be the next Gronk. He's now tight end 2 in Las Vegas, and people are like, is he going to stay there? Is he a trade candidate? Like, it's
what do I always say about tight ends when we draft them?
You're drafting them for their next team.
Mm-hmm. That's right. It takes so long to develop that position.
If you get better quarterback play, which extends drives and leads to more throws, Hawkinson's numbers are going to look a lot better than they have this year, and then he'll be worth that contract. Hawkinson, the issue with Hawkinson isn't because he's washed. It's because our quarterbacks have really struggled to complete consecutive passes in a row and extend drives. So, and everybody's numbers down as a wide receiver. Is Justin Jefferson washed? Look at his numbers. Is Jordan Addison washed? Look at his numbers. Why is that? Because of the quarterbacks. So
yeah, numbers only tell you some of the story. You got to watch the game film. You got to see how Justin Jefferson, if he's getting open, sometimes McCarthy's just moving off of the read too quickly. Or they're like Matt Eberflus continuously throughout the course, like the first game that they played against the Bears when Eberflus was head coach, 22, Jefferson, 12 catches, 154. After that, he never passed 80 yards. Why? Because he double and triple teamed him the rest of the time that they played. And what happened the last time that they played Eberflus? You had Addison, Hawkinson, and Aaron Jones all over 100 yards from scrimmage. So stats only tell some of the story. Jalen Naylor has had a phenomenal year. If everything that he has done had actually, matched with stats, he'd have like 800 yards and 7-8 touchdowns this year. He's been bonkers. But we've had struggles at quarterback. We had all the offensive line issues early on. The stats haven't been there for a lot of these guys, and it sucked. But that's why we have to match the film with the numbers, because the numbers only give you so much context, just like the film will only give you so much. You have to marry the two. And hopefully Jefferson will be able to break 1,000 yards. I think he's at almost 850 now. So he needs about 50 yards a game the last 3. I bet one of these, they just figure out how to make it work, and they get him those numbers.
Well, it'll click, and when it does, it's going to be magical.
Oh, yeah.
They're just too close.
They're barely missing on these, where Jefferson's getting open on a deep over route, and McCarthy's missing it by 6 inches. Like, we're close. They're very close to having a lot of explosives. Like the Addison one. If McCarthy did the right thing, he's wide ass open, just don't miss him. You don't want him to throw it short. It's better than throwing it long because he won't get it. And instead of a 0-yard gain, he got a 59-yard gain. And then they converted the touchdown. But the little things, those details will come over the next couple of years. And when they do, like, this offense could be pretty dang good.
Yeah,
They were tonight.
And I suspect they'll get better. And that once it's better, that's going to be scary. Now, whether they keep everybody together next year is a question mark with Jalen Naylor becoming a free agent.
Well, that'll be a tough one. I think if Naylor's looking for a little bit, I would assume, looking for a raise and more opportunity, which he isn't going to get. Maybe get the raise, but he might not get the opportunity in Minnesota to be anything more than a number 3 guy unless somebody's hurt. But maybe Minnesota will be his best offer. Hard to say.
But they'll trade Addison and make him number 2. Who knows? Thanks again, Biggs, for another super chat. If KOC is QB whisperer, then bring in Zach Wills.
Oh, I hope they don't bring in Zach Wilson. I think Zach Wilson's a lost cause. I think he's terrible. Like, the warning signs were there at BYU, but I don't think they were taken as seriously as they should have been in real time. But when you kind of look at it in hindsight, which I like to do, I like to look at things in hindsight because then you can learn things. So it's like, okay, what did I miss when it was happening in real time? Now that I can look at it with a 2020 lens, why did this happen? And I think with Wilson, he was absolutely terrible against any good competition, and he dominated teams that stunk. And we focused for a while way too much on the wild throws with the emergence of Patrick Mahomes. and Josh Allen. The alien stuff. Oh my gosh, he can do the alien stuff. Well, we forgot what makes a good quarterback, and that's the boring stuff. The boring stuff makes a good quarterback. The alien stuff elevates you to a different level, a different stratosphere. And I think we focused too much on the alien stuff with Zach Wilson, and we forgot that he just can't do the boring stuff. And at this point, I don't think he's going to ever figure out the boring stuff. Whereas Sam Darnold showed he could do boring stuff in college. He was just 20 years old and raw and just needed time to develop. So I think we're in a different situation looking at kind of comparing the two quarterbacks to where I would be completely out on bringing in Zach Wilson. But I understand the idea. You want to hear something interesting, Dave? For next-gen stats on dropbacks longer than 2.5 seconds, J.J. McCarthy was 10 of 14 for 187 yards and a touchdown, producing the first positive EPA game on such throws for this season. His 17.3 EPA on those dropbacks were the eighth most by any quarterback in a game this season. So when he had to hold the ball, he was great. And we know Kevin O'Connell offense, that's going to be mandatory.
and he had not done that. I.e., when he'd held the ball in previous games, he'd been terrible. So that's whether this is a one-game anomaly or it's a sign of him slowly getting it.
He's playing ball. He's worried about his footstep and his leg swing.
Yeah. And listen to this. On throws, 20 or more than 20 yards in the air, because there are two incompletions like just before the 20-yard mark. 4 of 4, including a 25-yard touchdown and the Jordan Addison deep ball. Just, you feel good about this game. You feel good. Mm-hmm. The one thing that did concern me was that touchdown to Naylor, the first one, where he's going against his body, and great throw.
Yeah.
No complaints about how good the throw was. What concerns me is the arm strength conversation, because when he gets everything into it, he's got a strong arm, but he doesn't have that alien strong arm like Josh Allen and John Elway, who could just sit in stand with their feet in cement and throw an absolute missile. That's not JJ McCarthy's arm strength, and that's fine.
No, he has to wrap up his whole body.
I know, and that was that throw. He torqued every square inch of his body to make that throw, and
both feet were off the ground when he released it.
You know what? It worked great. Mm-hmm. I'm glad it worked. But when you're talking about projecting forward and finding something that's sustainable and that you can make consistent, that ain't it. And that is concerning to me from a long-term perspective. Now, how many of those is he going to be able to make? How many of those is he even going to attempt a year? I don't know, maybe like 3 a year. But on those 3 a year, maybe they're game changers. And the fact that he torqued his entire body into it like that was a little bit of a red flag.
So are you thinking, Tyler, that because he did that and it's not advisable to throw that way and it was successful, that he might be emboldened to do it more often?
Maybe. I think that's definitely something that could play into it, but it's more if you call that play and you want him to make those kinds of throws, you're going to ask him to torque his whole body. And let's say he's a little banged up because, as you said earlier, Darren, nobody's 100% this time of year. Let's say he's got some bumps and bruises, and maybe those bruises are in his core because he took a couple sacks the week before or earlier in the game. And maybe that ball, instead of being a great throw, is just a little slow to get there, and then it becomes an interception. Those are the things that worry me about being repeatable. Not a criticism of what this throw was. I'm talking about being repeatable. And somebody mentioned in the chat, Anthony Richardson's got that kind of arm. Anthony Richardson has the kind of arm that you put in a traveling circus and have him do crazy stuff with. And I mean that in the most complimentary way possible, because him, Joe Milton, they just have special arm strength where they can. Joe Milton
could throw the ball through 2 brick walls.
The Happy Gilmore of quarterbacks, Joe Milton.
Throw it 90 yards without touching the ground. Joe Milton. But
the repeatable stuff, it's not quite there right now. And I want to see him make more consistent throws that are repeatable. And that one, great throw, praise it. But as far as wanting him to make that throw again, I have concerns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, but the off season, hopefully we can the reps and training can weed some of that stuff out of his game. We shall see. First off, we need 3 more solid games from him or better. And build off of what we saw tonight, or at least equal it. And if you can get that kind of play that you got tonight from McCarthy and last week, you probably got a pretty good shot at being in every game and probably maybe winning even 2 of the 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, people in the remarks have said if we had games like this, we would be contenders right now. We'd won at least 3 more games.
Yeah. Better late than never, I guess, considering what conversations we were having after the Green Bay game compared to now. It's nice to be having these.
Now, I've got a question. Should we worry about losing our 4th place in the division?
No, I don't think so.
Lions may lose out.
I mean, I guess it's possible, but I don't think they will.
I saw something today where we could actually spoil Green Bay winning the division, which I hope we do.
Yeah, I don't know. They went toe-to-toe with a very good football team today in the LA Rams.
I know the Bears wish we do too.
So, yeah, I'm not seeing the Lions going 0-3 in their final 3, but
we beat them once.
Season. Yes, we have. And I'll be interested to see how the Lions deal with the blitz scheme that Flores used on them in the first game that was so effective. You saw today that Cowboys made some adjustments early on how they were going to protect that, especially Wilson coming free in the A gap or whatever. They had the running back very, very close to the line of scrimmage, and it seemed like they wanted to get to Wilson or Cashman quickly before they got a big head of steam and would bowl you over. And I thought it was pretty effective in the first half. They did start getting to Prescott and more with those pressures in the second half, it seemed. But it was an interesting little wrinkle there.
Yep. Well, our next game is next Sunday, the 21st, at the New York Giants in New Jersey. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, and Flores is going to have to figure out like what the plan is with Jackson Dart and how to limit his scrambling ability and ability to make those kind of off schedule, off platform type of plays like Caleb Williams does. I guess the good news is they've already played Caleb Williams twice, and no, they're not the same type quarterback. They have the ability to make the same kind of throws on the run and hurt you with their legs. So at least the Vikings got a little bit of practice there in dealing with a similar kind of quarterback, I think.
Yes. Any last words there, Tyler?
Yeah, the Vikings need corners, man. If Isaiah Rodgers is actually hurt, oofta.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Kevin O'Connell said anything in the presser. Haven't checked to see if there are any quotes or anything, but you only have 3 corners on the active roster. They couldn't activate McGovern for this game because, well, they already did so 3 times. So corner is going to be a huge priority. I've already watched a few corners. I'm going to have a couple more clips for you, Dave, probably tomorrow, talking about corners, and we'll probably have our first goal search coming up soon. So get excited for that. But yeah, this team, I need weed. That sounds pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie. But what this team, like the things that they really need right now, they need young, explosive defensive tackle to replace these older guys badly. They need an off-ball linebacker. They need a corner. They need a safety and a running back.
And
I don't want to hear any. Oh, that's what I said. Off-ball linebacker,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
I don't want to hear anybody saying that center is the top 3 or 5 need for this team. It's just not. I'm sorry.
If Kelly's healthy, he's your number 2 ranked PFF graded center right now.
even if it's Brandel, I think you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the one thing that I've noticed with this fan base, and I understand it because we've been so tortured with offensive line. The vibe is that we need like an all pro at all 5 spots on the offensive line. You just don't. If you have an average player at one spot, which Brandel, average center, needs to not spray his snaps, but if he works on it for an entire offseason, I think we'll be okay. Then I think your starting 5 being Darrisaw, Jackson, Brandel, Fries, and O'Neal. I think you feel really good about that if Kelly doesn't return next year. Like, this center class is bad, and the only really good one tore his ACL in October. And that's not a good vibe. So, like, get depth at positions where you really need it, and we'll be okay. Take a center in round 6 and see if you can develop them.
Yeah. And we've got a lot of picks this year. So you want to develop depth without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't count on the guys in the back end. You hope they pan out, but you can't count on them. So,
yeah.
Any last words here, Darren?
No, sir. Just happy with what I saw today from McCarthy and lots of other guys in the Vikings. Always nice to beat the Cowboys. So
always nice.
Let's get another one.
The second on my most hated team list, the Dallas Cowboys.
Going to be a big long face on Jerry tonight. Jerry.
Yep.
Well, somebody in the chat's already said he's pissed off in his post-game comments. So good for Jerry Jones.
Hey, he's the one that put together the team. Be pissed off at yourself.
Yep. So, any idea what we're going to talk about tomorrow night, Tyler?
We're going to talk about this game. We're going to talk about McCarthy's the good, the bad, and the unsustainable. We're going to talk about the chemistry issues with Justin Jefferson, how those can be fixed. We're also going to talk maybe just a little bit NFL draft, because now that it's officially, they're officially out of the playoffs, I think we can start having small conversations about that. But I don't want to dive too far in until after the season, because the season is what matters still, even though the games technically don't matter as far as making the playoffs, but they still matter from a development perspective. They still matter from a culture perspective, and why I think the Vikings losing out is actually worse than them having a worse draft pick. Yeah, you want that higher draft pick in April, and you absolutely do. But how you get there matters. And if this team has 3 awful losses so they can pick 10th instead of 14th, that sucks. That's bad. We're going to talk about all that and probably a little more. Just a heads up, might not have an X's and Skulls this week. I got Wolves tickets for Wednesday. Shout out to my Uncle Ben. So there's a chance there's no X's and Skulls, and I apologize, but I got free Wolves tickets and I'm going.
Okay.
Say hi to Anthony Edwards for me.
I will. I hope he can play. He's missed the last 2 games.
You guys should really are missing Nickel Alexander.
I know.
Walker.
I know.
Freddie asking, are the Bears going to win the Super Bowl? He actually doesn't mind if they do.
Can they beat a good team that's not the Philadelphia Eagles, because they are disguised as a good team, but they're just not?
That's going to be interesting. They are not favored against the Packers on the second go round. They sent me a message. They're 1.5 point underdogs,
and they're at home. So neutral field, they're a 4-point dog. Yeah. Dave, that is so 2022 Vikings coded.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So with that, folks, I want to thank everybody that's joined us. You guys have been great as usual. Yes. And to repeat, the Vikings win. The Vikings win. The Vikings win. Final score, Minnesota 34, Dallas 26. You all enjoy your Victory Monday. And what do we say?
SKOL Vikings, baby.
SKOL Vikings. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell. And share this episode with your friends and even your enemies. We'd love it. Thanks for watching Vikings First and SKOL. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network, and we appreciate each and every one of you. SKOL.